Hey, it's Harry over at Pro Planet People, and today we're going to talk about innovative ocean fish farming. So let's dive in. Okay, so on the bottom of our website, if you scroll to the bottom, it's a good way to get into all the articles about the SAPO learning series that we have. And SAPO for us means sustainable alternatives, permaculture, and organic methods. And there's many other words that we could use, regenerative, things like that. But in general, we're going to talk about a different topic each day. And today we're talking about innovative ocean fish farming. So I'm going to take you into a little bit of a wormhole that I found when it came to this subject, and we could get an idea of what offshore fish farming is by this image here. They make these pens, right? These marine pens that they grow fish in, and they have netting, and they look a little different, but they're all very similar. And I started to jump into this topic when I found this image on one of the articles I was reading, and this is an example of one of the most innovative ocean fish farming that is happening today. It's a pretty new system. It's one of the largest ones that I've seen, and it's off the shore of Norway. This thing was built in some boatyard in China and moved all the way over here. So this seems to be one of the more advanced methods of ocean fish farming, and there's many hurdles that I learned about as I dove into the wormhole, and I'd like to show you some of those. So, one of the best places to go to find the hurdles is actually not necessarily the companies that are doing the fish farming, because they have to make investors happy, and they're going to show the positive sides of everything. And so this website, I think, was one of the best to find out what's really going on. The Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. So, cobia. This is one of the types of fish. The last one that I showed you in Norway, they're doing salmon. So that's a little different. This open blue that I found, they're doing cobia, and they're doing it outside of Panama. I think like 8 miles or 16 kilometers off the coast. So let's check in with the cobia. So what are some of the hurdles that we have with large-scale aquaculture in the ocean, right? So of course fish, they need to eat, and they're going to produce waste. They need to move, and they're going to reproduce. So these are some of the challenges that a company who's trying to do large-scale ocean aquaculture needs to check out. So the marine net pen that Open Blue is doing, they were given a score by the Seafood Watch, and the score is based upon a bunch of categories, and they're pretty much environmental impacts. So the categories are explained here on the website, and it's things that they need to use to try to get past some of the challenges or the pollutants that are created by trying to farm fish. Because when you think about it, we can't necessarily be hunter gatherer fishermen anymore as much as we used to, because we've overexploited that resource. So now we're looking into other ways to provide protein for humans, and it seems to be fish is one of the more um, easiest, or not easiest, but less intensive than something like a large mammal like a cow or a pig. So fish seems to be a decent alternative, and we still need to feed ourselves protein. Yes, there's other alternatives to protein, but in this case, we're trying to check out the innovative methods. So what are the innovative methods, and what are they trying to get past when they're doing open ocean fish farming? So chemicals is one thing. So when the fish get sick, if their pen is too small or there's too many for the pen, some of the solutions that people have come up with is are chemicals and antibiotics. So chemicals maybe to kill sea lice or something, or antibiotics to keep the fish healthy. Now, if you're doing this in an open ocean, you're putting all of these things into the open ocean. So this is an issue. Data is meaning what does the company who's doing it, are they releasing the data? What sort of diseases are spread into the wild populations? What sort of waste is released? So when they poop, that has to go somewhere. So the closer it is to shore, the more likely it can harm other species that live near the shore. If you're all the way out in the ocean, you may less likelihood to affect as many species. Escapes are huge, so if you use it like a GMO or type of breeded fish that's aggressive and grows very quickly and outperforms other salmon, let's say, if those fish get out, they'll outperform the native salmon, and this is a bad thing. The feed, this is probably one of the biggest hurdles that I've seen in a lot of fish farming, is that they need to give these big fish if they're carnivorous, protein. So what sort of protein are they going to use? And in this case with the cobia, it seems like they're outside of Panama. Maybe there's less um, regulation. Who knows? International waters is probably similar internationally, but they're catching smaller fish to feed the cobia to make bigger fish. And we can be eating these smaller fish like sardines or anything like that, but instead they're using those sardines for their fish oil and their protein, and they're feeding that to the cobia. So the feed is a very important aspect of this being sustainable or not, because if I have to take 3 tons of sardines to make 1 ton of cobia, that's a stress on the natural population of the sardine, and that doesn't seem very sustainable for the future to take that much habitat where they're sourcing the fish, and what happens with the that prey on the farm fish. So these are the categories, and like I said, for this particular location, I think this is the open blue, the chemicals, this is something that they got a lower score for, and their feed, because they're using they're using wild caught fish to feed this fish, and this doesn't really make sense in the long term. So we need to figure out other ways to either raise these smaller fish, maybe raise the sardines, and of course they're going to try to do it in a cost-effective way, and usually price and things like that is what brings us pollution, because people like to cut corners. So we're hoping to find better systems. It seems like another system that they're using lately is this. This is salmon. So this is on the Seafood Watch. You can check it out yourself. Indoor recirculating tanks. Check it out. It's the best choice. So something, if you end up reading about it, it seems to me that why is this a best choice is because before they put the water back into the environment, they are actually filtering it out. What do they do with the filter? I mean, that's poop. This could be used for anything. Also, so I was going to say, this only makes up for 0.1% of farmed Atlantic salmon. So it's a very small percentage because they're smaller systems. We would need huge tanks, and then you might have disease, and you might have other things that you have to deal with. But they're recirculating the water frequently, so this is a new system that I want to look into a little further. And if I was doing something smaller, I would definitely look into this sort of system for aquaculture. So thanks for listening about open ocean innovative fish farming. I just wanted to give you a little idea of some of the things that are happening. I would definitely take a look at this video because they're producing algae and mussels with the byproducts of the fish farming, which makes it a more of a closed loop system, which is exciting. And always with our videos in the SAPO learning series, you might find some things might not be exactly 100% correct. There might be new technologies. There might be changes you want to make. So we say, go ahead. If you'd like to leave a comment in the video, would you like to leave a comment on the website? Those are great. And when we go through the article again to update it, we'll use your information and check out what you've sent us. Also, you can make a video about this particular topic which is great. And we may submit your video instead of this video. Like I said, this is a quick production, and we're not trying to do it as a end-all be-all. We'd love to have our users and our members create the content as well. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Again, this is Harry at Pro Planet People.